Hello there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, where we are learning more about nature by playing games. Now, as you can see, we are back in Ark Survival Evolved. And I had a bit of a mishap, in all honesty, regarding the previous episode, the one that was supposed to come out on Tuesday. We accidentally uploaded the unedited version of the recording without the voice track there, and unfortunately, I had by that time already deleted the actual recording and the final version of the video, and as a result we have now missed everything that happened in that episode. Well, basically what happened in that video was that I was able to off-screen tame one Thylacoleo, which is this marsupial lion we have over here. So that one was Rufus, and then in the recording I managed to tame this female Thylacoleo as well, named Sooty. And they also had a baby, which was called Felix, until I realized that Felix is in fact a girl, a female Thylacoleo, and as a result, Felix is now called Felicia. Now, the Thylacoleo here is really a very strange creature, and we'll have a look at him when it is daytime again. Now, the Thylacoleo was very big, but it wasn't this size. It was about somewhere between a leopard, a fully grown leopard, and a lioness, a female lion. So it wasn't quite as big. It would reach my guy around about hip height, so around about here, maybe a little bit larger. But it was definitely the largest mammalian carnivore on Australia, where it comes from. Now, the Thylacoleo, although it looks like a lion, and it has the word Leo in its name, meaning lion, this is not related to the African lion or the Asiatic lion at all. This is a very, very angry wombat. A combat wombat, if you will. Now, the reason I say that is because the closest living relatives of, well, this, yes, that guy, is in fact the wombat. And the wombat is very weird in its own way, because they, amongst other things, make cubic poops, not these round little poops we see here. Instead, they actually make little cubes, little cubed droppings. Now, this creature then being a marsupial, of course, means that it would have had a pouch in which the babies would develop, and Thylacoleo means pouched lion because of the fact that it was a marsupial. And marsupials are weird in the way that they give birth, with them not giving birth to fully formed young, like we do as placental mammals. Instead, they basically give birth to premature babies, which are then raised in the pouch, external of the mother's body. And so that's quite a big difference there. Now, another big difference is if you look at the teeth. And with mammals, we very often can classify a skull of an animal or of a mammal based on the tooth structure. Now, this one here has got a few weird things happening here. Notice the big incisors in front here, as Sooty over here is looking so closely at us. So there are a few incisors in front there, very large, almost rodent-like. And then, if Sooty just wants to look that way, there we go. We can see a smaller canine on the upper jaw and no canine in the lower jaw. That is also very weird. With the marsupial lions, some species having up to 3 canines at the top there, but all very small, reduced ones. And the lower jaw, basically, in most cases, I believe, having no canines whatsoever. And then lastly, the big teeth that we can see there. Those are what we call the carnassials. They are the cutting or shearing teeth of the marsupial lion, of the Thylacoleo. And you see that in a lot of predators. A lot of carnivores will have those carnassials. They are meant to shear meat off the carcass. And usually it consists of the premolars and molars that kind of grind past one another with very sharp edges to shear the meat off. In this case, it's the last premolars that are very much enlarged. The molars are small and hidden behind these massive guillotine-like structures with the premolars here, which form these carnassials. Basically, one set of massive premolars doing that function. So just looking at the skull, large incisors, different from all other carnivores that we have alive today. Small canines, very different also from all living carnivores. And then massive carnassials consisting of the third premolars that form this guillotine over here. Also very different from ours. And it is estimated that although this was smaller than the African lion, it had a bite force comparable or potentially exceeding the African lion's bite force. And that is probably why, in this game, if you are actually riding it, they really are formidable creatures. Very, very strong in terms of getting rid of, as you can see there, a carbonomous little turtle over there, getting rid of it quite quickly. Or this poor Parasaurolophus killed in one bite. So they really are quite formidable predators. And they were the top predators on Australia for many, many millennia, until they went extinct around about 40 to 42,000 years ago. Most likely a combination of climate change resulting in the extinction of some of the smaller Thylacoleonids, the smaller relatives of the Thylacoleo, and the Thylacoleo itself most likely facing climate change and as a result habitat change, but also most likely hunting by humans, as there are cave paintings from Australian Aboriginal people that most likely show the Thylacoleo. And it is quite possible that they interacted with each other, and it is also therefore quite possible that humans hunted them to extinction as well. Either hunted them directly or resulted in their prey going extinct. And as you can see there, the Thylacoleo very adept at climbing up basically sheer rock faces. So if you want something that can climb up almost anywhere, get yourself a Thylacoleo. Now, this isn't just all willy-nilly speculation that they could do that. There are markings in caves in Australia that fit the claws of the Thylacoleo, which shows that they were most likely very adept at climbing up rock faces and climbing up into trees. Even though they weighed upwards of 100 kilograms, they were most likely very adept at climbing up into trees. Now, one thing that most likely made these creatures so adept at climbing and at killing are these claws over there. Those ones, the inner ones, the thumbs, they were semi-opposable, which allowed them to get a proper grip on their prey and most likely slash into them a bit as well, while their jaws also probably did quite a bit of work in getting rid or dispatching their prey. Additionally, these claws were retractable. They were actually in little sheaths that allowed them to retract, very similar to cats nowadays. It's just an amazing creature. I mean, look at this. Perfectly adapted. And I for one, am actually very sad that we don't have a chance of seeing them. Of course, though, seeing them in real life may have been a bit of a dangerous endeavor. So I'm to some extent glad, but also very, very sad that we can't see them nowadays. Now, I will be getting to a building that I have constructed as well in a moment, but I also want to introduce you to the newest member of our family, the Sarcosuchus over here. Now, this little male, known as Sarcosam, because in South Africa we have a bread make known as Saskosam, and you know, this is a Sarco, and it's Sarcosam. This Sarcosam was just willy-nilly walking along over here, chasing all kinds of things, and then eventually I managed to tranquilize him, and well, he is now our aquatic mount, our main aquatic mount. Really an interesting creature, and quite deadly, as all crocodilians were. Now, as with all crocodilians or crocodilomorphs, very good most likely at swimming, using a very powerful tail to move forward in the water, and could also most likely hold their breath for extended periods of time underwater. Now, the Sarcosuchus, although it looks very crocodilian, is not a true, or was not a true, crocodile. They weren't as closely related to crocodiles as you would think. They are, however, a crocodilomorph, and they are in the what we call the Neosuchians, which are the more modern crocodilomorphs, or crocodile relatives. So they are more closely related to crocodiles than they are to some of their ancestors, but they are not true crocodilians. And they were, however, one of the largest crocodilomorphs. They were about 9 meters in length. Now, if we lie down next to this one here, our little guy here is about 1.5 meters in height, so that will be about 6 of him. This one is a little bit larger than it would normally have been, but relatively spot on in terms of size. Of course, being a crocodile, it's relatively easy to know what a crocodile was supposed to look like. There have been scutes found of this crocodilomorph, so these hard scales on the outside, on the top side of the crocodile here, or the Sarcosuchus of the crocodilomorph, has been found. And they have also found basically a completely intact skull And one fossil also had about half the bones of the entire skeleton, which is, as far as I recall, the most complete Sarcosuchus skeleton that has been found. The Sarcosuchus genus comes from Africa and from Brazil, from South America as well, and there are some potential records outside of those areas as well. But the majority of fossils have been found in the Sahara desert environment. And that's because when it was the early Cretaceous period, so about 112 million years ago, the Sahara was underwater. It was a delta-like freshwater ecosystem, and that is where the Sarcosuchus would have really been at home. They would have been at home in freshwater, not really in salt water. And they would have fed on similar species to the coelacanth over here, known as Morsonia, which was the largest coelacanth group, as far as I know, or the largest species of coelacanth known. So, with our little Sarcosuchus, our Sarcosam over here, hunting the coelacanths, that is most likely what the Sarcosuchus in real life would also have done. Now, interesting, with this little guy over here, let's just have a look here at its snout, because this is amazing. Notice it is quite thin. And this thin mouth here may indicate that it may have been a bit of a piscivore, meaning a fish-eating species, similar to our Spinosaurus that we have, which also has a relatively thin snout with conical teeth like Sarcosuchus over here. And this snout is very reminiscent of today's gharials from India, which also have this slender snout and an enlarged tip there. However, with all the specimens found thus far, all the individuals had this raised section here, which we call a bulla in the Sarcosuchus. In the gharial, this snout tip there is called the gara, and it is only present in males, not in females, and it is used to make a sound that can be heard a little bit more than 70 meters away. So it's a bit of a long distance communication, most likely only between males to chase one another off from the areas where they are trying to attract females and trying to reproduce. Now, the Sarcosuchus, with all of them having it, it most likely served a different purpose, potentially used to either detect prey or for some kind of sense. Really an interesting species, and I definitely am looking forward to using it to go and fight a whole bunch of creatures. Sarcosuchus here, it was estimated that it possibly could also have fed on smaller dinosaurs. However, the Sarcosuchus was probably, the snout could probably not have survived the so-called death roll that crocodiles do nowadays. So if they were able to actually catch and kill large prey, they most likely would not have been able to do the death roll in order to actually tear pieces of meat off, which is a bit of a problem. So it's more likely that they fed on fish and smaller dinosaurs rather than big old dinosaurs that they may have encountered in their habitat. Some of the other crocodilomorphs, like Dinosuchus, most likely would have been able to catch and kill the larger dinosaurs and then actually feed on them by doing the death roll. So just because something looks like a crocodile does not, however, mean that they act completely like a crocodile. And that then is Sarcosuchus, or Sarcosam in this case, our newest member of our family. Now, before I show you something that I am very, very happy about and very excited to show you actually, just a reminder that I will again be streaming this Saturday, South African time, 7 o'clock until 11 o'clock. I'll have the times down in the description below for your local time zone. Feel free to come and join me there, come and chat to me a bit, ask any questions you have about nature and ecology and all those types of things. I will of course be streaming Subnautica again. We're carrying on, we are heading into the depths and hopefully going to go build a nice little base down in the Lost River. So that promises to be quite exciting. And then of course, if you haven't seen it yet, we have also released a new video with Small Land Survive the Wilds, which is a game that has come out on early access 2 days ago. So it's very, very new. And my wife and I have decided to do a bit of a playthrough together of that game. So feel free to come and join us and watch that video on the channel. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please, subscribe to let this channel grow. Let's reach more people and teach more people about nature. And this here then is something small, but something I am very, very proud of. The greenhouse, the newest greenhouse that we have built. in a hexagonal form. In the center here, we have got 2 beehives, which are producing honey for us, which we can use to make sweet veggie cakes. And that will be in the next episode then, when we go and hopefully find an achatina to tame as well for cementing paste, or achatina paste at least. We also have this carnivorous plant over here, or some weird plant, species X, which will actually shoot poisonous barbs at anything that comes close. We also obviously have all our little plants and berries and veggies growing all over here, being watered all around. And it is all in a hexagonal form and shaped like a daisy from the top. And that's just a little something small, but something I am very, very proud of. And that's it then, everybody. So thank you very much for joining me again on our little adventure. A short little episode just showing off what we managed to tame last time. Old Rufus over here, Sooty, and then of course Sarco Sam, which is right over there. So until next time then, everybody, stay safe. I will see you all soon. Bye.